Yes, yes. Just figuring this out. Yeah, that's not too bad, eh? Yeah, that's not bad. I'll take that. Jesus, Bobby. Let me get my hair done back down there. You gotta love that shit, man. It's good for you. Put hair on your friggin' toenails. No, that's not right. I want rewind that. Put hair on your chest. I got, like I said before, I got 3 hairs on my chest. I'm working on number 4. Oh boy, is that good for you. Ugh. It's cold in Toronto. It's cold. Yes, the wind's blowing. It's cold. Just definitely just cold. If you got nowhere to go, stay home and watch movies. Pop some popcorn. Have a ham sandwich. Do something. Anyway, you know what, Bob? It's Friday afternoon. I've been doing these videos for, I don't know, what, a few years now? A few years now. Some people can't wait. Yeah, they want to know what I watched. Oh well, it's fun. It's fun. That's all we're doing here, right? We're having fun. I'm going to tell you what I watched this week, and I'm going to rate them, and just tell you I enjoyed them, I didn't enjoy them, whatever. Sometimes they're a first time watch, sometimes they're a second time watch, sometimes they're a 10th time watch. But anyway, so let's talk, Bob. Let's get on with it. Put the movies up there. Have another drink before we start, eh? It's almost lunchtime for me. I usually have lunch around 2 o'clock. I usually have supper, dinner time, nighttime, whatever. I usually have that around 7. That's just the way I do things. So after I do this video, I'll probably have lunch and watch a movie or something on Netflix or, whatever. Okay, let's talk about stuff. It's the old book, eh? Write things down in the book. I know last Saturday, right, I watched Target, 1952. It's a Western. Yeah, it's got Tim Holt. He made a lot of movies, like Tim Holt. Oh yeah, some of you know Tim Holt. Linda Douglas and Richard Martin. Richard Martin's his buddy. Chico, I think his name's Chico. Anyway, a cowboy and his Mexican-Irish sidekick become a lawwoman's deputies. Yeah, all what stories about. This guy's buying up land, right? And he's paying people money. They show up with the money to put the money on the table. They sign over the line and they leave. And then when they leave, the guy finds out, right, they kind of shortchanged them a bit. Instead of giving him $15,000, they gave him $1,500. But he already signed the papers. So he signed the land over. What a dummy. I'm thinking, 8 people already did that? What are they, all dummies? Anyway, he gets a 6. And when you start thinking about movies, right, you go, this guy's number 9 on the list. He signs his line number. Didn't anybody tell anybody else that they got ripped off? Anyway, it's just a movie, people. That's what they say. Bob, but it's just a movie. Yeah, well, it gets a 6. It's fun. They're only about an hour or 70 minutes long. They go by pretty quick. And now they're cowboys, And then I watched this one. Die Hard with a Vengeance. 1995. Bruce Willis, Samuel L. Jackson. Right? A madman, supposed to be a madman, holds New York City as a hostage. Right? That's the whole idea. Hold him as a hostage. So he wants money. If he doesn't get any money, he's going to blow up the city. And Bruce Willis hooks up with Samuel Jackson, and you got to go around and around the neighborhood answering phone calls and doing different things for this crazy guy. But there's more to it than that. And probably if you saw this movie, you know what I'm talking about. But if you haven't seen it, watch it. It's well worth the watch. And I gave it a 7. A high 7. A big 7. So yeah. Die Hard with a Vengeance. And then And then I watched this, Nobody. I got it this week, or within the last week, you know, from Amazon. It's got a nice little jacket to keep it warm, right? I've seen this only once before, and I decided to buy it. I think I've seen it up at Kelly and Dave's. We watched it up there, my daughter's place, right? So this is written by John Wick, the writer of John Wick. Well, you can imagine, eh? Yeah, what's his name? Stars, what's his name? What did I put down? Yeah, Bob Odenkirk. Yeah, he's in Better Call Saul, right? The TV show? Yeah. Yeah. And he goes a little, he's a regular guy. In the movie, in the beginning of the movie, he seems like a regular Joe. He's a dummy, right? He forgets to put the garbage out. You know, when I had a house, everybody forgets to put the garbage out. Almost everybody. And he has a mundane job. He drinks coffee. He takes the bus to work. Stuff like that. And then one night he's laying in bed, you know, and he hears people downstairs. He goes downstairs to investigate. There's a couple of punks down there, and they're robbing the guy, right? They give me your money, give me that watch, and give me hand, you know, whatever, right? So starts. And then his daughter says to him, his little girl says, "Hey, Dad, I don't have my little kitty bracelet." That's it. Now it begins. He heads out to go find that little kitty bracelet. And fucking ape shit happens. Yeah. And then you see this guy beating the friggin' living shit out of 5 guys in a bus. In a bus! Yeah, I think there's 5 guys. And John Wick, you can tell it was John Wick stuff. This is John Wick all the way. Well, not him, but you know what I mean? The movie, like the movie type of movie. This is fantastic shit. Right? This is great stuff. This is a riot. This is fun. What did I give it? Oh, I gave it an 8. Tall boy, a tall 8, yeah. Nobody. Lots of action. Boy, it's a fun movie. If you haven't seen it, freaking watch that. And then I watched the movie on, on Netflix, right? Netflix here in Canada. Netflix came across one. And it's called Mother/Android, right? 2021, I think it was. A first time watch, right? First time watch. Like I said, this is the second time watch. I just got this from, what do you call it? I just bought it. Amazon, right? Amazon. Yeah, later on in the future, she's a young pregnant woman and her boyfriend desperately search for safety. Chloe Grace Moretz. She's been in a lot of movies. She's a nice looking young girl. She was in Kick-Ass. Pretty sure she was in Kick-Ass. She was Kick-Ass. Yeah. Nicolas Cage. That was a fun movie. I wasn't too crazy over the second Kick-Ass. It was alright, but not as good as the first one. Anyway, I gave it a 7. It's alright. Yeah, they're running through the woods. Androids are chasing them. Androids taking over the world. Instead of zombies, it's androids. It's alright. Nothing wrong with it. I gave it a 7. First time watch. Yeah, and then I watched, did I watch then? Oh, this I got this week too from Amazon, right? I only ever had the first one, Lethal Weapon. I've had that Lethal Weapon for years, right? But I never had the rest. And I kept saying to myself, I gotta get the rest of the movies. So I finally pulled the trigger on this one, and I got it from Amazon. And I watched all 4 of them this week. All 4 of them. And they're all fun. I must say, I haven't seen the other 3 for like, what, years? I guess years. But to me, they're all fun. It's all fun. There's only one, I wouldn't even say weak, but a little weaker than the rest. And number 3 is a little bit weaker. It's hard to say, but number 1, Lethal Weapon, the first one, right? It's hilarious. It's fun. The jibber jabbing between Mel Gibson and Danny Glover. Yeah, I gave the first one number 1. The first one, Lethal Weapon. I gave it an 8. Yeah, gets an 8. It's just damn right fun. It's just fun. And Lethal Weapon 2, yeah. Danny Glover, Mel Gibson, and Joe Pesci. Joe Pesci, he's a killer. He's a riot. Yeah, what did I give that one? Yeah. Yeah, it has to do with smuggling ring. A guy from, what is it? What the hell's the name of that place? Right in the tip of my head, I can't get it out. That's Spangenberg. It's a smuggling ring, right? You know, they smuggle people. So, whatever, it's or dope or whatever, money, I don't know. But anyway, I'm getting off the track. Yeah, so I gave it, what did I give it? Number 2, Lethal Weapon, 1989. I gave it an 8. I think it's an 8. Time out for another drink. Number 3 is 1992 and 93. It has to do with a bad cop, eh? Yeah, it's a bad cop. He's able to go into all the police keep their stuff, right? Like guns and bullets, and I don't know how the hell he does it, but he steals all this stuff from under the nose of the cops. He signs things out in there. I don't know, but anyway, it's a little weak. It's still a good movie, don't get me wrong, man, but I gave it a 7. It's just, I don't know, just a notch below the first two, so. Number 3, Lethal Weapon, yeah. Joe Pesci's in it too. He's the comic. He's even more funnier than Mel Gibson and Danny Glover. But it's a riot. I gave it a 7, yeah, 7. Lethal Weapon 3 gets a 7. Then I watched Lethal Weapon 4. Number 4, right? Mel Gibson, Joe Pesci. This one had Jet Li in it. Yeah, Jet Li. Jet Li doing his thing, man, kicking ass. You gotta love. I love Jet Li. I love all his shit movies, right? Whether he's a good guy or a bad guy, he kicks ass with all that kung fu stuff or whatever. But yeah, I gave that an 8 too. So out of this series, there's 8, 7, and an 8. And I've watched them all before, because I can't say a first time watch, because I did watch them before. Like I said, I pulled the trigger on this, and I finally bought it, so now it's in my collection of movies. And any one of these movies you can watch anytime at all. Again, maybe next week, next month, but you know what I'm saying. So it's like, yeah, Die Hard movies, fantastic, fantastic. Stuck back another door. Then we come upon this one. Right? 60 years ago this year, 60 years ago, coming up soon, I guess. I forget what month now, but 60 years ago, Dr. No shows up at the theater, the show, the movies, whatever you want to call it. Now, they didn't really, from this first movie, they really didn't know what they had, right? Because although this movie is very interesting, it's a great movie. They just, I don't think there was any gadgets, as Ian would say, in this movie. He had a gun, but there was no tricky things that, this is just a straightforward Bond, right? Kind of thing, right? And he was with Ursula Andress. Andress? That's a good name. Andress. Here they're on an island, right? Dr. No's island. She comes walking out of the water singing with seashells. You got to remember that scene. If you don't remember that scene, man, there's something wrong with you. So anyway, what did I give this one? Dr. No, I gave it a 7. No, it's a high 7. James Bond movies. A lot of James Bond movies are 7, But very good movie for the first time out of the gate. There's a lot of talking, a lot of smoking, a lot of drinking, right? But, yeah. James Bond, 60 friggin' years ago. 60 years ago, how old I was 60 years ago? This old fart here, I was like, I think I was 10 years old. The first James Bond movie I seen at the show, as everybody, most of you already know this, but the first one I seen at the show, Some people say theater. I always call it the show. When I was younger, I used to go to the show every Saturday. Pretty well, a lot of times Saturday nights. Yeah, Goldfinger, right, was the first one I seen. So let's give this one a 7. They didn't know what they had when they made this movie, right? So, there was none of this, odd little things that James Bond had, secret weapons and something in his shoe or in his belt or any of that stuff. So, it's straightforward, yeah, movie. I like it. What's not to like? Give it a 7, people. Let's have another drink, Bob. It's cold here. I watched this movie. Brothers. Well, upside down anyway. You get the picture. Brothers. Yeah. 2009. Yeah. What am I, Brothers? Yeah, Brothers, 2008. Tobey Maguire. I think he was making Spider-Man. Wasn't he back then around this time? Wasn't he doing Spider-Man movies? And Jake Gyllenhaal. Gyllenhaal. Yeah. Tobey Maguire's in the army, eh? Yeah, he's in the army. He's a captain or something in the army. Got a wife and 2 kids. He's got a brother too, right? Jake, right? And Jake's a little bit on the hot side. He likes drinking, smoking, swearing, getting in fights, and regular shithead, right? So, in the movie. So Tobey Maguire gets to go back. He goes back over to Afghanistan, right, with his men. He gets captured for a few months, in the movie. So they send a letter, or not a letter, but yeah, they letter. 2 people show up at the door, knock on the door, tell her husband's dead, right? It's the whole idea of the movie. So then his brother shows up, he was already there a few times. But he helps her, and him and his buddies build the kitchen for them because they were on the verge of, building a new kitchen and stuff. So Toby gets captured. He's in a cell, in a dirt bag cell with one of his men. And shit happens, and I really can't tell you too much more than that because I'll spoil the movie for you, right? So yeah, Brothers, 2009. What did I give it? I gave it a 7. It's worth a watch. It's a good movie. It's all right. Nothing wrong with it. And this one, Fire with Fire. Bruce Willis and Josh Duhamel. Yeah. Well, it's Josh Duhamel's movie. This young guy here. What's his name? This one. I forget the girl's name though. Was it Rosario? What's her name? She's good in it too. Rosario Dawson. Yeah, those 2 are mostly in the movie, right? Bruce Willis is in the movie, but it's one of those movies where he shows up every once in a while. Gets his paycheck kind of thing, right? So it's more so these 2 characters in movies, right? Him and her, right? But anyway, the movie starts off. He's with his buddies. He's a fireman. They're going back to the guy's house, picking up some beer, licorice chips, bags of chips, regular junk food. He's at the variety store. He's picking this stuff up. His buddies are over at the beer store picking up some beer. He's in the variety store, and what's his name? Vincent D'Onofrio or D'Onofrio? He plays the Kingpin. Remember the Kingpin? Yeah. Daredevil and the other day, the Kingpin thing. But yeah, he's a supremacist. He's a white supremacist. He's, like shooting black people. Anyway, he's in a variety store. He walks in with a couple of his buddies and they pull a gun, and Josh Duhamel's in there too, right? And they stick him up and tell him to lay down on the floor. And they're talking to the black guy, and his son's there, right? So he wants the business. He wants the store. This is a good place for business, right? It's a busy place. So anyway, one thing leads to another. Skip, the plumber, and he shoots the father in the top of the head. He shoots the son, right? Blows them away. Then they try to shoot Josh Duhamel. He throws a can of Tutsil, spaghetti sauce or whatever at one of the guys, and he runs out the back door, right? And then he kind of goes to court and he picks out DeAmparo as the guy that shot the guy, right? Now he has to be put in witness protection. Well, I guess that didn't work out too well. But that's about it. That's all I can tell you. Like I said, if I tell you any more, I'll spoil the movie for you. And God knows I don't really want to do that. But I do sometimes by mistake. But most of the time I try not to. So yeah, Fire with Fire. Bruce picks up a paycheck, you know, probably has to buy some chickens for his backyard. But yeah, I give it a 7. It's worthwhile watching. Nothing wrong with it. It's okay. All right. So that's it. Pretty well the beginning of a new year, starting the chapters in life. All my Christmas stuff is put away for another year, right? So we're getting back to normalcy, I guess, you know, other than this, oh man, still gotta wear a mask and things are shut down and there's so many people out here. You can eat outdoors if you want to, you know, there's still, you know, places where you can eat outdoors. But there are places people do it, so, you know, just got to be careful. There's a lot of people in the hospital. You know, a lot of people are not vaccinated. Most percentage-wise, that's them here in Toronto anyway, that's in the hospital because they didn't get vaccinated, so they're in the hospital. Most people here have, you know, their 1 and 2 and shots, right? And me, I'm looking forward to getting my 3rd, you know, my booster shot. That's coming up soon. Don't know yet. I got to make an appointment because you got to go online, right, and do that. Before it was just show up. And anyway, it's a long story, but I got to do that. But yeah, I don't go anywhere like I keep saying, keep repeating myself. Maybe you don't want to hear it, but I just go to Food Basics, buy my groceries, come back home, or I go to Shoppers Drug Mart, pick up my pills. Those old people pick up pills. I guess not everybody that's old, but, you know, takes pills. Some people, lucky bastards, don't have to take any pills, but some of us got to take pills. So that's it for another week with Bob here, you know, on Cosburn Avenue.
I have a bad feeling about this. Why can't we just go to light speed?
Oh, you have learned much, young one. I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Yeah, well, all right, movie lovers. That's it for another week. Give your mom and dad a hug. Love to everyone, and keep watching those movies. All right, movie lovers. Until next week, aloha hui.